Come on, yo. Slant.
Slant.
All right, Paul, let's go.
Happy Wednesday evening, everybody. This is Polly. How y'all doing? We do the occasional special show every couple of weeks now, and the special show is being the Latino slant for tonight becomes the sober slant. um, we did this about 2 weeks ago where I celebrated my 5 years of sobriety, and I had a couple of sober brothers come on, and not only was it was a great talk and great conversation, but I got some great feedback, in particular from family members and close ones. They're like, you got to do the sober slant again." So I thought, well, I will do that when there's a good reason to do it, maybe once or twice a month, like I said. So what we are doing though right now is simultaneously going live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube people. And I'm here watching this other screen. Watch for anyone else that cares to comment. We're on Facebook as well. So fantastic. We are now on two different deals. All right. So before I introduce my guest and we see some people coming in, I want to read to you the meditation for the day. All right. So the way I run my sobriety is I read off from this book every morning, I give it up to God, and I go about my day. Then at the end of the day, I look back at the end of my 24 hours and like, how did I do? All right. Was I a jerk there? Yeah, I did pretty good in that moment. Was I an asshole over there? Yeah, maybe I could have. I look back at the day based off the meditation reading of the day. So today's meditation, let's get this up here, guys. And once again, the Latino slant is the sober slant today. And here is the meditation for the day. Let's read this together. Try not to give way to criticism, blame, scorn, or judgment of others when you are trying to help them. Effectiveness in helping others depends on controlling yourself. You may be swept away in a temporary natural urge to criticize or blame unless you keep a tight rein on your emotions. You should have a firm foundation of spiritual living, which makes you truly humble. If you're going to really help other people, go easy on them and be hard on yourself. That is the way you can that is the way you can be used most to uplift a despairing spirit and seek no personal recognition for what you are used by God to accomplish. Got it? Good. Yeah, here's the prayer of the day. I pray that I may try to avoid judgment and criticism. I pray that I may always try to build up others instead of tearing them down. Nice. I'll put that up occasionally throughout the talk, and then also we have our Stream Elements donation tip jar going. And what we'll do for this show is any donations, we will donate it at least half, maybe even more. We'll see. To a 12-step recovery program or maybe a central office we could chat about. Okay, great. So let's settle in, think about that meditation, and let's introduce our guest. Our guest comes from Austin, Texas. I know he's not from there originally. He is a former MMA champion. I believe he actually fought in one of the first Bellators. I think it was Bellator 3. He's going to kill me if I didn't get it right. Sorry, man. He's also he is a Texas MMA, pro MMA veteran. We'll get his record in a minute. And he's also been a referee and commentator. So he's like now the Tejano, Chicano Joe Rogan, slinging knowledge. I like that. All right. So yeah, let's bring him on now, and let's introduce the champ, Nick, the Ghost Gonzalez. Yo,
What's up, Paul? Hey, buddy, how's it going, man?
good man, good. How did you How did I do? How was that intro?
You good? Do you know what? I'm actually born and raised here. This is my hometown.
Oh, in Austin?
Yeah, I lived in the Valley for probably been about 3 or 4 years total. My dad's from there, so
that's what it is. You've talked.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time down there, growing up, as a kid, and then I went to school down there for about 3 years. My dad got sick, diagnosed with cancer, and so I moved back to Austin and been here, But Austin's my hometown, born and raised here, definitely. That's why I think I'm so when I go out and when I've been fighting and I was traveling, whatever, I represent Austin, man, because it's not a fight town. I always tell people that it's really not a fight town. It's not we're not Houston, we're not San Antonio. You were here in Texas, we're just it's fucking Austin. They got a $5 billion soccer stadium they're building, but they can't sell out the UFC when the Frank Irwin Center has an event. It's Austin, bro.
Well, a couple of things, Nick. You always represent, and I do miss Austin, and I'm so honored to have you come and talk about your sobriety, your story, all that good stuff, whatever you want to talk about, right?
Yeah, man.
Thanks for being here, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
So we're on Facebook and YouTube. We got some people watching. This is nice. So guys, if you have any questions for the champ for what we're doing, please post your comments, and anyone that wants to donate, the Stream Elements is there right now, and maybe we could think of some 12-step or some recovery or somewhere we can give if you have an idea, champ. So yeah, man. So how is your day, man? How are you navigating during this time, man? Because
it's crazy time, man.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's really not been bad for me. I can honestly say that. So I'd been working off and on throughout my fight career, quote unquote. I always like to tell people I was a professional fighter, but I had always been in the electrical field. I've been an electrician since 2000. I got licensed back in 2004, but MMA was always my thing. I was like, oh, I'm a fighter. And then I worked service industry here and there, just over the years. But electrical work is my trade. So I went back to the trade in 2000, I believe 13. At the end of 13, I've been working for this company here in Austin, and things were going great, man. I got my license again, my electrical license. I got my driver's license back because I didn't have it because I had 2 DWIs. So I finally got my driver's license back. So I was rocking and rolling with this company, man. I was really happy there, but pandemic hit and they laid me off, and I was like, I was been there the longest, this South location, and it's just kind of just like a slap in the face. But I just started doing my own thing, man. I started Ghost Electrical Services, and
nice.
It's for me, dude.
That's your fight name. I'm sorry. How did you get that nickname?
The Ghost. Okay, so yeah, once upon a time, this had to be I think in 2002. I had already had I think 4 or 6 professional MMA fights. I didn't have very many, but I only had just a handful, about 4 or 5, maybe 6. My trainer at the time wanted me to do some boxing, and we couldn't fight in amateur boxing, because I had a professional license as an MMA fighter. So he had told the commission, if there's some pro boxing shows, get him on, blah, blah. And they literally called us one afternoon and for a show in San Antonio. I went down and I fought on probably about 2-3 hour notice. I went down. I beat a guy in my pro debut. He was a tough man champion. He had done tough man. He wasn't like he didn't have a strong amateur boxing background. He did tough man. You remember that sport for a while?
I do.
Okay. So he had won like 2 tough man tournaments, but he never boxed. So I went down, I beat him. And I was not in my weight class. I literally get off of work, I get showered. I was going to go to the gym. I end up down in San Antonio. I'm boxing, on like a Thursday night, and it's some rodeo thing down there. And I beat him. And then so the next day in the newspaper, this article came out, and it was basically saying how I, made him look silly. And when we read it, my trainer at the time was like, "Man, you're like a ghost in there," and it was kind of stuck.
I love it, man. And you got a boxing T-shirt on with your
you gotta represent, dog. You gotta represent.
Oh,
Woo!
snap!
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Fighting Pride in Mexico. You're living the Tejano life. You consider yourself a Tejano or Chicano? What's up?
I say Texican. I mean Texican, Tejano, but yeah. I would say so. I got the shorts on the wall. The shorts are up there on the wall. The same thing. They're the 2 flags, the American flag and the Mexican flag. It's the last pair of shorts I fought in. Yeah.
I love it. So let's go back to this because I actually saw this photo you sent me, and let's just say hi to Eastland. Says can't type today. Sometimes family or friends can become an issue relating to one's sobriety. Ever have anything like this? Okay, so let's save that question, Eastland.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us. You're here with the champ, Nick the Ghost Gonzalez. He's in Austin, Texas. And that's how we met, because I used to live in Austin, Texas, and I used to work at Emmy Television. And I think at some point you had a fight, and we did promotion for it. I can't remember, but that's how this started. So it's so good to have you here, man. But let's go to this photo. What is this? Look at you.
That's what you call, I guess, an adrenaline high. I mean, just at that moment, you just like. So okay, the story about this. So yeah, you were right. I fought. I was actually. I mean, at some point, I don't know. I guess right between 2004 and 2009 in Texas. 2004 and 2009, I was probably the top lightweight in the state. If not the top, I was number 1, number 2. I got signed to Bellator. I got this big $150,000 contract. Blah 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 blah. Things, just didn't work out for me. I get cut from Bellator. That's the thing, though. When you sign these big contracts, you're just. I mean, I never signed anything like that. I didn't know what what it really meant. So, like the little, I guess, bylaws in it or whatever they call it. They basically were saying like they were able to cut me at any time, depending on performance or blah 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 all these things. So obviously, I lost 2 in a row. They cut me. When they cut me is when I fought in that local show there. We had a show here in Austin called King of Combat.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was right. So I called the promoter and I'm like, hey, so I just got cut from Bellator. I lost 2 in a row. So I don't get this $150,000. Like, I signed thinking I was gonna, whatever. So I was like, hey, I want to fight your champion at 145. Give me him right now. I don't want a tune-up fight. I mean, I'm gonna go back into the fire. So I fight the champion, Dustin Neese. And I ended up TKOing him in the 2nd round, and that's what you see. And the victory, I did like a jump knee, and that was it. He didn't answer the bell. He didn't answer the 3rd round. He sat a stool.
You did a street Jesus?
Yeah. I didn't get as much airtime. I didn't get as much airtime. I'm shorter, But yeah. So there's actually that picture.
So dope, dude. That's so dope.
The guy who took that picture has the picture of the knee, and you see me getting in the air.
If you can get that right now, we'll put it on the show right now, bro.
Man, shit, yeah. Like I don't know if I could find it.
Yeah, maybe ask one of your kids to send it over. They're more tech savvy.
Yeah, right.
It's online anywhere. But Shellback TJC says Texican. I like that.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So then that's what you see right there. I get cut from Bellator. I lose the $150,000 contract. my back was against the wall. I throw myself in the fire against the promotion's champion, and I'm like, either I'm gonna beat him or I'm not meant for this, you know. So I beat him, and then that's where you see the celebration afterward. Yeah, then now I'm champion now. Yeah. So.
Now you're the champ. No, you're still a champ, bro.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
That's where that picture's from. Yeah.
So, what Bellator were you in?
I was in Bellator 1 and 3.
Wow. All right.
If you were to go and look at the poster of Bellator 1, it's me, Street Jesus, and Eddie Alvarez. I was, dude, like I'm telling you, at some point in time between 2004 and 2009, I was the man in Texas. I was slated to be this whatever, but just things just didn't work out for me, man. I mean, you see Street Jesus now, Eddie Alvarez, former champion, Bellator and UFC, so I mean, just wasn't my path, Yo, Paul, where'd you go?
I got cut out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no. I was like, hey, do I take over the show by myself? I was about to start telling jokes and shit. And I was like,
was that Bellator number 3?
Bellator 1 and 3. So Bellator 1 is when I was saying I was on the poster with Eddie Alvarez and Street Jesus.
Let me look for it, but I keep talking.
Yeah, if you go, Bellator. If you just Google Bellator 1, you'll see that poster. Me, Eddie Alvarez, and Street Jesus. I look at shit like that, man, and I look back, I'm just like, I had a good run, and it just wasn't my path, it wasn't, I don't know, man. I see those guys now. I mean, like, I love that, Masvidal is getting this recognition and that stuff, everything that he deserves. And he's been in the game for a long time, So to see him come full circle and get that right now, I mean, it's amazing,
I mean, we could talk MMA all night, but let's check out this poster, guys. And
there's me. Yeah.
Yep. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And look how young Jorge was too. All you guys, you kind of look the same.
I was like, yeah. I had this like long goatee thing going on, but I mean, 2009, I think I was 28, 27, 28, something like that.
Yeah.
Living the dream, baby.
So this is great, man. So we got the background. So obviously, let me check obviously you've been fighting ever since you were a kid. And we could talk, however you want to blend that in, but obviously, I think how many days of sobriety are you at? Where are you at with that?
Like 1,300. I can look at my sobriety calculator. It's definitely, I'm creeping up on 4 years. 4 years, November 26th. So like 13.5, something like that.
Okay, so it was safe to say, as a fighter, you were also drinking and having a great time. You tell us.
I wouldn't say it was a great time, but I thought I was having a great time. But.
Right, correct. Well, let me just back up.
In my mind, I was having a great time.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, whatever you want, as far as what it was like before?
Well, I don't think my problem really developed until I moved back to Texas in 2011. Yeah, 11. So, 11. I got signed to that management company, and I moved out to San Diego. They brought me out to be Dominic Cruz's sparring partner for the Brian Bowles fight. That was his first title fight, for the WEC title fight. So again, if you knew Brian Bowles, you kind of remember his style. He was a heavy-handed guy. So they brought me out because I have really good boxing. And I ended up staying out there, and I had some rough fights. So the plan was to get into the UFC. That never worked out. The quote-unquote manager I had at that time for this company was more like a booking agent. I don't think he was really like necessarily a manager. He's more like a booking agent. And long story short, I get a fight in Strikeforce here in Cedar Park Center, and Strikeforce had been acquired by the UFC already at this time. So they were pretty much saying, like, if you win this fight, you'll be in the UFC's acquired Strikeforce. You're going to be a UFC fighter. That's all I wanted ever in my entire career. That's all I ever wanted to do is fight for the UFC. So I lose horribly. I get caught in a rear naked choke. I get put to sleep. And then that kind of, I think, broke me mentally because that's the time I was living in San Diego. I moved away from everything comfortable, everything easy that I had here, really trying to make it. So I turned around and took a fight. I won. And I think that's kind of where I kind of started really partying and trying to cover up this broken heart that I had because I lost that Strikeforce fight. And that's like, that was to me the one I think that broke me because, well, I lost. I get choked unconscious, which is terrible. But that was the only reason why I was in San Diego. You know, I wasn't out there because I wanted to be out there. I didn't want to be away from my kids. I didn't want to be away from my family. I was trying to get in the UFC. So to me, I failed. And so when I got back, you know, that's kind of, I think, when the alcohol started to really take over, you know, just my emotions, where I would drink to kind of, whether I was celebrating or I was sad, you know, and that's kind of where I think things went a little south as far as the alcohol. And that went on till 2016. So it was about 5 years where I was drinking heavily. Then drugs would be, around sometimes. It was just a really sloppy existence in that 5 years because I was still trying to fight. I was showing up for weigh-ins heavy, but nobody ever really knew, I think, what was wrong until I came out about being sober. I mean, I even had a car accident in 2014 where I fell asleep after a night of drinking. I flipped my car, falling asleep. I stayed sober for about 4 months, and then I got back to drinking. And just going back to the performances and just training and fighting, it was never a stable, good thing because I was I'm not stable as far as winning or just healthy. I was unstable. So I would always turn to alcohol. I mean, in 2013, I got a Fight of the Year nomination against Leonard Garcia. I show up 6 pounds heavy. I was a fucking mess. I health-wise, I should have been fighting, man. Like, I was so full of drugs and alcohol at that time, and I still perform a Fight of the Year performance, I knock him down the first round. I mean, it was a great fight, but it just wasn't me. For those 5 years when I was fighting, it just was never me the way people knew of me because I was drinking and not taking care of myself. So 2016, that November, I just kind of guess finally got tired of being a lush, being a whatever, and just got my shit together and got sober. Never looked back. I think in those 2 years, though, from 2014 to 16, when I flipped my car and I would try to battle with sobriety, I tried AA a couple times. I had a girlfriend at the time, and she ended up kind of enabling me, and it's even embarrassing to say it, but she began just drinking and partying with me. I think she got tired of trying to get me to stop drinking, so she's like, "I'm just gonna join him," and so then you get 2 people drinking, and it becomes a toxic, unhealthy relationship because there's alcohol and drugs involved. And I just finally got tired of it and got sober on the 26th of November.
So the day you decide, I'm sure, so there's been many days before then that you said it. You tried AA, you tried other things. What made that day different? What made that time different?
It was just kind of just like a lot of stuff going on in my head to where it was just like, it's just like something like kind of clicked, I'm like, here you are, you're this, I don't know how old was I in 26 or 2016, I was 35, I'm like, man, it's just like something snapped. Because so when things kind of ended with this girl, I'm laughing because I went out for a night of partying and then she basically locked me out. and so I couldn't get back in the apartment. And I'm like, so she, it's like, hey, get your stuff, and you got to go. That's not cool. We were supposed to get married. I mean, this is a big mess of that whole relationship. But so I was like, man, just kind of snapped. I'm like, man, here you are, you're a 35-year-old man. You're sleeping on your mom and sister's couch. You barely have any fucking money. And at this time, I'm not fighting anymore. I already went back full time into the trade. And of course, I'm still battling with the alcohol problem. So I was just like, man, just kind of get your head out of your ass. Relationship with my kids was not the greatest. The people, I just hurt a lot of people. Just like I said, for those 5 years, I did a lot of bad things. As far as saying things, just the way I was acting, carrying myself. So I just kind of got sick and tired of it, man. It's just a lot of stuff going on in my head. And like about a month that I stayed at my mom and sister's, and then I got sober. I passed my electrical exam. I got my license back. Just things just started just kind of falling in place, as I got sober. And next thing you know, I'm here. I don't know. There was nothing really that like said it. You got to do it. I just remember a friend of mine. She's here in Austin as well. I kind of talked to her about it because I knew she had been sober, and she was like a former, dancer, former blah blah party girl. And I just remember what she said. She says, when you know it's time. Like something tells you it's time. And then I had another friend who's also a sober buddy of mine, and he and I used to tear up the town, man. Like bad shit together. But he'd been sober about a year longer than me. But I remember he said, nobody regrets getting sober. And when he says that, it kind of like clicks, because it's like you think of all the times that I tried, and all the regrets that I would have, So it's kind of really how I did it.
If you're just joining us, just watching, we're here with MMA Champ Nick the Ghost Gonzalez, talking about sobriety, talking about how it was, what made that day in November, that day that stuck. Many times we've had a couple of bottoms, and we just don't learn our lesson. I didn't learn my lesson the first time, the second time, or the third time. I don't mean to laugh about it, but that's what I get when I resist the grace that God was trying to show me the way. So that's that got me back into the rooms of AA. But let's go back to this. This is interesting. Eastland says sometimes family or friends can become an issue related to one's sobriety. Ever have anything like this, Nick?
Yeah. It gets to a point, I think, when you understand that your sobriety is so important. It's like your priority, right? So I think anybody that disturbs it or is just trying to disturb it, friends, family, anybody, the best thing to do is just completely separate yourself from them, no matter how much you love them, who they are. If they're conflicting with your sobriety or making it an issue or giving you shit like, oh man, come on, just drink one. They're not supporting your sobriety. You don't need them around. You need people that are going to support your sobriety, understand that it's the best thing for you, and want it for you. Separate yourself. Just start cutting people out. For me, as longer I go, coming up on 4 years, like I can go down the list of people that I've just completely eliminated from my life. And these are people like family, my former trainer from when I first started, close friends, like I've known for years, like talking about 10 years or more, They don't serve me any purpose. I don't need to entertain them in my life if they're not supporting my sobriety. I'm trying to move like that. I'm moving in that direction. They're all staying here. They're going down. Like, sorry.
What a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand.
No.
Well, that's cold. That's cold-blooded. Why are you turning your back on your friends? What's up with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, fuck me. I was like, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. When you really start to see it, like these people aren't serving you any purpose. for your sobriety, they're not supporting it. You don't need them. I mean, it's there's like a handful of people I can literally call my friends throughout this journey, and there's been a couple dozen. Like I'm not kidding. Like that I've known for years. Like I said, 10 or more years. And it's just like, one of my friends. Actually, it's funny. There's a little story I can tell you. I used to work in the service industry. When I'd say that, I would work at topless bars. I got into topless bars, working as like a bouncer or bar back, bartender, blah, blah, blah. So one of my quote unquote friends, but he's not my friend anymore. I just don't even really entertain talking to him, whether it's the social media thing, just everything. I said, just completely cut him out. He invites me into this new club that he's managing because the old one closes. And so I was like, hey, you know what? I don't even drink anymore, bro. And you're always there when I'm working. We just never, I'm sorry, we never saw eye to eye on me coming in. And then one day, he's like a Sunday. I was like, hey, you know what? I'll come by. So what's up? I have a Red Bull. I mean, you're my friend, right? I walk in and I see an ex-girlfriend from a few years back at the door. He invites me in, so I see her at the door, and I'm like, oh, hey, I didn't even know you worked here. Like, still, I met her at a titty bar, and I was like 20. I'm not kidding, right? This is like 3 years ago, right? Two years ago. So I'm 39 now, so she's got to be about 43, 44. She's still sitting in the front door of a titty bar where I met her 20 years ago. But anyways, that's beside the point. But so I'm like, oh, hey. And then she's like, hey, you're not supposed to be here because I'm here. I'm like, man, I didn't even know you worked here. I was like, when's the last time you ever even saw me in one of these places, right? So here I'm already in my third year of sobriety here. He comes out, and he basically is taking her side. He's like, hey, well, just go ahead and leave because she doesn't want you here. And I'm like, bro, you invited me here. You're the manager. I'm only in this motherfucker because you invited. I'm sorry, because, but I was like, I'm only even here because you invited me. Like now you're telling me I can't come in. Like you invited me, bro. And he's like, so I mean, just like that. He shows me his true colors. He takes her side, or doesn't even take her side. And he texts me like when I leave, he's like, oh, bro, I'm sorry. Just blah 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 blah. I was like, no, man. Like you're a turd. You have no spine. You couldn't even stand up for me. Like as a friend. Just whoop, cut off, eliminated. And, one less thing, one less person I got to worry about. Again, that guy, he's just one of these people, like, you pass through, like, being your friend. He's been my friend for well over 10 years. He has absolutely no purpose in my life anymore.
We're going to go back to friends and really being a friend through bad times, right? But I want to back up because we've got some people watching now on Facebook and on YouTube. Thanks a lot, everybody. We're here with Champ Nick, the Ghost Gonzalez. Y'all want to donate? That's great. We'll hand it over to some. There it is. There's the fist. You better listen up, or else. So yeah, this is a special show of Latino Slants. It is the Sober Slant. What does a day in sobriety, how does that work for you? Do you use elements of AA? Do you use a 12-step? Is it just a spiritual? What is it
for me, it's a more of a spiritual thing. Because I mean, like I said, I tried AA a couple times. I'm not against it. I mean, I know it works for a lot of people. For me, following the 12 steps wasn't my guiding light. Like I said, I think it was just kind of a spiritual thing. For me, it's just kind of getting to a point where it was like I needed to just start uplifting myself, and the only way I could do that was staying sober, and reading a lot about things, different people been getting sober, listening to stories, reading a lot, or listening to a lot of audio, podcasts, and just being related to people, relating myself to people that I'm familiar with, like celebrities or fighters. Mark Kerr, Mark Kerr, the Smash Machine. I remember he was saying something. He did like a little 10-minute thing. I mean, this guy at one point was like the best heavyweight in the world. Mark Kerr actually has a documentary film about him where he had a real bad problem with opiates and pain meds and alcohol and drugs while he's trying to fight. This guy was getting 10 times more famous than I've ever been. But anyway, I remember him saying something like, I have to look at my sobriety. I have to look at my disease And the only medication for my disease is sobriety. If I want to live, I need to stay sober. Because if I go back down and entertain this disease again, no matter how much I think I might have control of it, it eventually eats you up. And there comes all kinds of, I guess I flipped my car. I mean, I DWIs, there's legal problems, and there's just all kinds of stuff that come with something like that. Kind of remember it kind of hit me. It was like, he said the only way I could beat this illness is sobriety is my medicine. Staying sober is my medicine. It's free. And I was like, things like that have helped me. So I just kind of, it's like the spiritual thing for me. I can't really say it was my fix, but I also started getting into like more of a spiritual thing with, I have a friend he's from Oaxaca. He's very, very Mayan. Like if you saw him and I standing next to each other, you're like, that guy, he looks like Apocalypto. He's a giant, Mayan nose. But I started doing sweat ceremonies with him. So just going down the spiritual path for me, I think is really my answer for sobriety.
Now, is this with your sobriety? Is this something like every day? Is there one particular thing you do to reconnect your sobriety to your spirituality? Because in AA we're so, I'm so rigid with my, with what I do to keep my ass in line. What do you do every day to keep your ass in line? Besides what you just told me, but because you could go to a sweat lodge once a month. You're like, oh yeah, I go to sweat lodges, man. What do you do every day practical?
Every day practical it's to me, it's like it's a routine. It's either I'm working like my electrical work, or I'm in the gym, or music helps me a lot, believe it or not. Music, and then somehow in these music playlists or YouTubing and stuff, I'll eventually drift off into like motivational speeches, like your Les Browns, your Tony Robbins, stuff like that. I find I usually listen to one a day, motivational speeches for people. Eric, that the hip hop speech guy. He's kind of got like a real aggressive style. I don't know if you've heard him. Eric Thomas, his name. I mean, just a lot of the it's like self-empowering, self-motivating. I listen to one of those at least every day, once a day when I wake up. YouTube has them; they're free. I find them, boop, and just play it, and just going into my mind. And for me, I think that helps me. That's one of the things. And then again, aside from trying to work out or working, I definitely just keep myself busy. I got my dog, my therapy animal. He's Max. He's a little shy from the camera, but
oh my goodness. Max.
He's a giant, 80-pound, big old baby right now. But
oh man,
that's
we got another. We got another question from Eastland. For some, getting honest with oneself is a big thing. For some, valuing oneself is a big thing. For you? Question mark. So getting honesty. For me, I kind of make this not really a joke, but I don't even know how high the accuracy of the percentages, but I'm like, I don't think people that are really sober, that are truly in sobriety, don't lie, because you accept the biggest lie that you've been living, which was your alcohol or your drug addiction or your problem, right? Once you accept that and you face it, you get over the bullshit that you've been living. I mean, because again, just for 5 years, I'm telling you, I'm trying to train and fight and pretending I'm this, not pretending, but out here doing this thing. I'm lying to everybody on social media. I'm checking in like, yeah, I'm training, get ready for the fight. And then I show up 6 weeks or 6 pounds overweight. It's like, wait, we just saw you checking in and doing it. What was going on? But you're lying. Yeah, you're lying the entire time to yourself and to everybody else. So I think once you get sober and you understand that and accept it and you own that problem and you just bite down and get sober, you become just more honest with everything. And that's, to me, one thing that's been a conflict with losing a lot of people is like, I don't like people that lie. And I've had to deal with that, so. And they're like, no, like sober people don't lie. I mean, tell me one sober person. I mean, maybe tell you a white lie, but the biggest lie you are living is
your substance abuse. You're lying to people every day. Oh, I don't have a problem. That's a fucking lie. You do. You know? That's how I see it.
Eastwood says Max is great.
Oh, he is. He is.
And agree, one cannot lie to oneself and make sobriety work.
Right, he wants to get in the camera.
Yeah.
He heard y'all say his name.
Hi, Max. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
So, how has being honest? Oh, my, look at handsome. That handsome boy.
Right.
We got people watching on Facebook. We got peeps here at YouTube. Thanks, everyone. This is not my normal stream of talking. Of talking sci-fi and comics, and actually, we were live yesterday talking about my action figures. Well, they go figure. Our big shows are every Thursday where we talk about Latino themed stuff. But this is a sober stream. We're here with the champ Nick, the ghost Gonzalez. Yeah, let's put those photos up again. There he was, winning the championship there.
Oh, to be young again.
And this was Bellator 1. You see he's up there with Eddie Alvarez and Jorge Street Jesus Masvidal. So, you know, we got a true champ here, guys, with us, talking with us for however long this lasts. So thanks again for your time, man.
Absolutely.
So how is, being honest, how is your sobriety worked during 2020?
So, you know, it's really funny because everything that's happened, you know, the shutdowns, the pandemic, some closing everything, it really didn't change a lot of things for me. I mean,
why is that?
I'm pretty much already at home a lot by myself with my dog. I don't go out to bars, you know. I mean, the guys closing the restaurants down, you know, kind of sucked. But I mean, I think especially being in a town like Austin, you see a lot of. I'm looking at Facebook and you see a lot of these service industry people losing jobs, and they're like, the bar's closing. Yeah. I'm like, get out of that fucking industry. You're a grown ass person. Go get a real job, you know. I mean, Walmart's stayed open. HEB, my son got a raise. He was making like $17 an hour. He is making $17 an hour at HEB. Wow. You know, that's not bad coin to work at HEB. But again, just because it's pandemic. But it really didn't affect me. Like I said, it's real funny because I'm like, I'm already home anyways. You know, I think I really enjoyed my solitude. I really like my space being alone time now, I guess. Mm-hmm. I had one relationship when I got sober. I was dating somebody who was sober at the time, and I was really into her. It was like about this whole like hashtag sober mate thing, and she was sober, but then in the end, almost 2 years into it, you know, her legal stuff is over, her probation for DWI she was on, or DWI probation. So her legal stuff was ending, and I could kind of get a sense that she wanted to kind of get like back to the party life, and I'm like, well, that's not for me. Like, I almost killed myself. You almost killed yourself. And she had a couple other things happen. I'm like, that's not enough for you? Like, you'd rather risk it and go back to being a party girl. So back she went. And ever since then, you know, it's just been, I think, a lot more, you know, self-discovery, and just learned a lot more about this sober living on my own, figuring out what to do, how to entertain myself. And I said the pandemic didn't really affect me, all the shutdown. I mean, I was like, I do all this stuff anyways. I'm always at home, you know. Like, as soon as I'm done working from the gym, I come in. I'm in my little like sanctuary here, and it's my zen, it's my space, my peace, you know.
But you haven't stopped working because of your trade.
Correct. Right? So that for me, I've been very fortunate for that. So.
Yeah. Shellbach says 2020 sure as hell can drive someone to drink. Yeah, well. You
okay.
Know, so imagine, yeah, go ahead. I
was like, imagine that. And imagine a crazy ex-girlfriend who will not let you move forward because she's constantly trying to get you in some kind of trouble. That's life. It happens. But you maybe not, but I'm telling you, I'm telling you, like,
I feel you, dog. I feel you, but
yeah.
like,
No, but I'm like, goddamn woman, leave me alone already. I'm like, you know, it's really funny because there's one ex-girlfriend I'm speaking of in particular. I introduced her to Vanessa Del Fierro, who's a mariachi singer. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She's in the female.
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
but okay.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Vanessa, and next thing you know, I go to a show, and of course Vanessa's brother used to be my trainer in San Diego. That's how I met Vanessa. But so I've known her for a while. I introduced her to this crazy ex. I go to a show by myself. You know, again, this is pre-pandemic, but just going back into that one person that won't go away. And I'm there at the show by myself. I look over and I see a guy like Mad Dog me, this bigger black guy. And I'm like, I know him. Like, why is he looking at me like that? And then I'm like looking at him, staring at him, and then I kind of go like, I said something a little nicer. And I'm like, what's up? And he mumbles something, and then she comes out from behind him. I'm like, oh my God. And then I leave. And so I was like, I'm out here, man.
Good.
It's just what I'm saying. She won't go away. So then I'm gonna get home. I just start scrolling Facebook, and she's in a picture with Vanessa and Vanessa's sister. And I'm like, oh my God, like if you cannot attach yourself to any more people that are involved, like in my life, my circle, it's just, but I think one of the things that have helped me a lot is I listen to like some motivational speakers and stuff. Just trying to master your sobriety. I think Tony Robbins is talking about just mastering things in general, like, you know, things in life. I think when you're trying to really master something, like I'm going to try to get my master's electrician's license. I'm mastering my sobriety. I'm trying to master this where I own my feelings. I have to be responsible for my actions and everything. I can't point the blame at anybody. I can't turn to the alcohol because it'll lead me to X, Y, and Z. 2020 is a messed up year, but like everything, it's not going to last. 2021 is not far away, but things might be back to normal. Who knows? I mean, you never know. I mean, it's just, we just know it's not going to last. Like anything bad, it won't last.
Well,
it'll pass.
What's so fascinating to me, and amen to that. What's so fascinating to me is seeing people operating from a place of fear out there. From a Facebook post to an Instagram, you just see the fear that they're in, and it's like, you gotta fight. You gotta get grounded. You gotta stop watching the news.
That's a meme. There was a meme they shared yesterday. I saw. I didn't post it because I didn't feel like getting hear anything from people. But it's a picture. It has a fox in front of sheep. It said, "A fox scaring sheep in 1920," and it's like a little herd of sheep and a fox, right? And it says, and it's people sitting in front of a television. It says, "Fox scaring people in 2020," and it's them watching the news. And it's like you get sucked into this. You're, oh God, my family. You know, I love them to death, but they're oh God.
Yeah.
Like, ay Dios mío, I pray for Jesus. Like, oh God, like stop watching the news. Turn this shit off.
Well, and the news, they're not operating from a place of serenity, a place of anything that's good. They're selling fear. They want you to buy into that. So as a sober person, I'm just like, man, these people need a program. But I know that that's none of my business as far as trying to tell someone what to do. It's none of my business. No matter how right or wrong I think I might be about them, but it kind of goes back to today's reading. I'm going to bring it back up, where it says here, let me get my old man glasses on. Effectiveness in helping others depends on controlling yourself. You may be swept away by a temporary urge to criticize or blame unless you keep a tight rein on your emotions. So there it is, right? Checking our emotions every day. And You know, by a person coming from a person myself who used to just care so much of what other people thought. You know, that the drug of your approval was my first drug. You know, then I moved on. So this is great, man. You know, I can't imagine getting through 2020 not sober, not sober. Um,
Yeah, I was like, I don't. For me, it's just like it's just alcohol, drugs, never do anything good. And once I think you kind of get to that point where you're sober and you've been sober for a while, and you really understand that, like, there's nothing good for me that comes from this. I mean, like I said, there's people, I don't knock anybody. They have a few drinks and blah, blah. Okay, cool. Like, happy hour every night. I'm like, that's you, but that was never me. I could never just have a couple of drinks.
No.
Like, I'm an extremist. I mean, I was fought in a cage for I don't know how many years, and I did a bare knuckle fight. Like, and I just, if you told me like, hey, look, you can make this amount of money if you go fight that guy over there and his 2 pit bulls, I'm like, okay, I'll go fight him and his 2 pit bulls. Like, I'm just like, so I drank that way, and nothing good came out of it. So it's just not for me. It's just that simple. I just have to cut that.
Shellback says, even though I've had a reason to go down the rabbit hole of substance abuse, thank God I never have. That being said, I'm really enjoying the stream. Both of you are inspirational human beings. Salute. Thanks, Shellback.
Thank you.
We're just talking, and I appreciate that. Shellback is a great supporter of what we're doing here in the Latino Slant. We got a nice crowd here on both streams, and we welcome again the champ, Nick the Ghost. Gonzalez talking about sobriety. Boom. So how has how has fatherhood changed sober now? Because now you're a sober dad.
Yeah, man, we're closer than ever, and it's for me. My kids are they're grown, right? They're big. They're 18 and 20. My daughter's in the Navy. She lives in San Diego. My son's 20 years old. We've gotten a lot closer, and they've turned to me, each of them on their own, to talk about like serious things in life, whether it's sex or drugs or people's this and that, and I can openly talk to them about that because I've been down all these roads, so I can shoot straight from the hip and be honest with them, and I think they appreciate that. But fatherhood has been tremendous for me. I mean, we've gotten a lot closer because I said those times that I was drinking a lot, I would see them, they'd be around me, I was spend time with them, but it was never good quality time because either I was drunk or I was hungover, or I would go out and then eat and then I'd have some drinks and they had to see me battle with a few things. So I think I don't blame them. They didn't want to be around me sometimes, and so I love it now, the relationship we have.
Is your daughter back from the Navy? I know Shellback's a Navy vet.
No, so she's still in San Diego. She's a Navy corpsman in San Diego, at in the Balboa Park Navy medical area. She's gonna be stationed out there for 2 years. So again, being able to work for myself, I was able to up and go visit her for a week and took my son out there. We had a nice vacation in San Diego, and of course I used to live out there and I trained out there, so I take her by a couple of the gyms, take them both by, and they got to meet Phil Davis, a couple of the fighters, so, and they're like, hey, Ghost, and for me it was cool that they got to see like, oh, well, your dad's really a badass. Like, here we are in San Diego, California, all these like UFC champion people know him, so I mean, I think they know, but they didn't really know. And they're like, wow, dad's cool.
Yeah, that's a nice gift, man. That's a nice gift. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we're here talking to Nick about sobriety, living with sobriety, with your family, through this pandemic. I know for myself. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't know how you look at it or what your take on it is, but I always found, or I have found, I guess, influence or just kind of like some motivational from different people I find out that are sober, or they've been sober longer than me, obviously, right? Danny Trejo, Uncle Danny. I got to meet that guy one day, someday. But he's got a great story, man. You know, and that guy's been like 70 something crazy amount of years of sober, right?
Yeah.
Maida Leal, the woman from Machete, the real pretty girl, the one that was kidnapped. She was naked. He finds her in the room in Machete. She has a small scene and they kill her. But she's a actress.
And she's sober?
Yeah, she's about 5 years in, or just discovering. Who did I recently find out was? Gerard Butler, I think, right? The
really?
300, the 300 guy,
That's great.
the guy from 300, Gerard Butler. Yeah, he's sober. And it's like, oh man, because I follow a lot of sober pages too on Instagram. And so it's really great being just even part of like that community in Instagram, because you'll start to see people and you'll start to read some of the stories and you relate to them and you can just completely connect with it because you understand it because that was you,
And Danny's been doing a lot right now during the pandemic, feeding a lot of people here in town and in LA. He's amazing, man.
Yeah.
And like, he's got that fire still in him, even though he's like, little viejo, but he's amazing. He's been sober since the 70s, I want to say.
Yeah, no, he has this thing where he says he likes to help people, So Maida Leal was in Machete. She attributes a lot of her sobriety. I think she's like 5 years or 6, maybe. She's a few more than me. I'm coming up on 4. But she attributes a lot of it to Danny. And I guess they met on the cast. She was in the movie when they filmed it here in town. And so I don't know the whole connection of it, but she attributes a lot to him and just getting sober, the story. And she's very open about hers. And that's the thing, too, I like is, like I said, about actors or musicians. You start seeing, like, I saw Eminem just celebrated 12 years of sobriety. Steve-O from Jackass hit 10. It's like, so I really like that. Kind of motivates me and just shows that, man, we're not alone. There's other people that we're all in this together and we battle the same thing.
Well, what I was gonna say was that the gifts of sobriety is this life that I have now, which I would have kind of pissed away when I was younger. Having employment, having a roof and food, having a wonderful mate, that's a big deal, and being present every day for my companion, you know what I'm saying, and having a house. It's like I didn't have any of that shit when I was drinking.
Yeah.
And I was a great bullshitter, great life, so yeah, man.
Yeah, I relate to that and just having things. So like in those 5 years that I was drinking and not taking care of myself, I was fighting, like I said, I started taking boxing fights too because I needed money. I had like 3 draws. I got knocked out one time because I literally got off the bar. The guy's like, "Hey man, next week you make, it wasn't a lot of money. I mean, it was like $3,000." He's like, "But I had to take this out on a week notice," and I was like, "Okay." And like I'm literally sitting at a bar texting this guy. I'm like, "All right, and $3,000 ain't shit." I've done electrical jobs where I make that, easy. And I was like, man, like how desperate I was when I was in my substance abuse phase, where I was desperate for this amount of money that I went and put my life on the line, And here I am, licensed during this pandemic, working, making ends meet, getting jobs, making money, and saving, and just. I couldn't have done this when I was drinking. I wouldn't have. I remember there was one fight I took for Legacy on 10 days notice. I win. Again, this is during the time when I'm drinking and partying. That was always the problem for me, though, is because there was times in that 5 years where I did win fights, and so I didn't think I had a problem, because I'm like, oh, I just won, and I just drank and did some coke about 3 weeks ago. I'm all right. So you know, again, that's the lie you're living though. That's the whole thing about lying. And just I don't like liars now. But so I win, I get the money, my prize money, and it's like boom, it's like party and all day, you know, just it became just a really vicious cycle where I was not
Well,
taking care of myself.
when we were when you know with Emmy Television from like '05 to '09, I was making more money than I was had at that point than ever because I was just pulling in from a lot of different entertainment. But fucking I blew it. I mean, I didn't save any of it, bro.
Yeah.
None of it.
Oh,
I didn't know how to save, and I would shower it on all kinds of bullshit. Now I make considerably less, and yet I have money in the bank.
yeah. And I've told
You know?
people that they're like, you know, oh, I remember actually that fight where I'm on the cage
Yeah.
and the two Bellator fights, like I go, I made a lot of money between those three fights. Yeah. I made a lot of money between those three fights. That one there alone for a local regional show here in Austin, because that was a local promotion, I
Mm-hmm.
made $10,000. That was a that's a regional show. That's here in Austin. Okay. So that's not Bellator, it's not whatever. I made $10,000 for that fight.
2009. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice night.
Right. So then that, and then my two Bellator, and Bellator obviously paid better. I had no money. I had nothing from that. Nothing. I blew it. Blew it. Like that was that first. I remember my first big paycheck. You know, I remember I go to a strip club, and I was like, I'm making rain, and I get bottle service, and they stick me with the bill at the end of the night. I'll never forget them bills, like $800. I'm like,
oof.
what the fuck? I was here for like an hour, you know? Not
What was all
literally.
your friends?
Yeah, right. No, shit. Yeah, tell me about it. Like, oh, get another bottle. I'm like, okay. But you know, like I said, look back at that, and it's like, yeah, you know, being in that cycle of drugs and alcohol, you lose track of things, money. Say you almost like you lose track of reality. You don't, because I'm saying the lie. You're living this lie. You believe it. You know, you're your biggest fan. You're like, oh, I'm all right. I don't have a problem. And, oh, I made $10,000. I'll make another 10, another 5. You know, but it doesn't happen that way. But I'm happier now than I've ever been, sober, doing my own thing, my own work. I don't have anybody in my life right now. I think that's probably the only thing that's missing. But even now, even now with that comes to like a point where
you're not missing much.
No, right? I know. Like, so somebody, a friend of mine.
I didn't say that.
Right. A friend of mine and I were talking about this. It's a friend of mine. Her and her wife are both sober, and I absolutely love them. We're talking about that. Like, oh, they were like, oh, they were together for this long, and they got married, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, I'm coming up on 40, and I'm not even entertaining the idea of marriage, right?
Yeah.
She's like, really? She's like, you know, this and that, and you're a guy. I'm like, don't get me wrong. As a man, you miss certain things, and women, have there's the affection, companionship. I was like, but I like my clean apartment. I like the peace and quiet. I like that I can get up and leave, like to San Diego with my kids and not have to, oh baby, you want to go and can you get off work? Asking anybody. I just up and go. Like, take my dog with me. And I got Max. So I commentate for So I commentate for Fury Fighting Championship, which is the premier show in Texas right now.
Great.
Every show that I go to, I take Max with me. Just me and him. We hit the road. I mean, I'm really just happy.
We're here with the champ, Nick the Ghost Gonzalez, Bellator and Texas MMA vet. Let's get to the chat a little bit. Shellback. Oh wait, he already said that. Oh, here we go. This is my first command squadron up here in Washington was attached to the USS Constellation that was home ported in San Diego. That's a nice base. Ghost daughter is doing a good thing based there. Salute to her. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. Eastland, peace of mind and being present is a result of being sober. Death by Saber. Hey there. What's up, Death by Saber? ¿Qué pasó? Hey, champ, what's new? Death by Saber. Yeah, we got the champ, brother. Hell yeah. But you know, we're all champs también. We're all champs. And every day we show up to life, and hopefully you guys, you know, are showing up and doing some positive things. ¿Qué más? The spirituality of the 12-step program both teach that a recovering alcoholic cannot steer one's life by how one's feelings. Correct. I would say that. And then Des says one more time, ¿Qué pasa, raza? So, you know, Ghost, a couple more questions and then we'll let you go, man. I know it's later there. Ghost is in Austin, Texas, everybody. Yeah. You know, Eastland says peace of mind and being present is a result of being sober. I'll share sometimes when we're talking about serenity and in the meetings, I'll share, like, I remember a long time ago, I had gotten like some sort of Japanese IKEA, like, you know, how to build it instructions for, like, let's say a bed, right? It was a bed. And in the instructions it read, rule number 1, like, to assemble this, rule number 1, you must have peace of mind. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I think the ghost froze on us. Hopefully there he is.
That was that.
So yeah, having peace of mind just to do anything, that's pretty vital, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Peace of mind. I think that's the biggest thing. I think when you're sober is just having that peace of mind, that clarity. It's a big key word. That buddy of mine, he's I call him the guru. Developed a friendship. He's actually the one that took that picture that you shared. So I met him years ago as a photographer, but we, just kind of friends over social stuff. But now we've become a little closer. But the key word clarity is this. You have so much more, just sense of everything. Your peace of mind, your clear understanding of what you need to do, what needs to be done. You're able to prioritize your day, your responsibilities. And I like it. To me, that's what keeps me, I think, on the sober path. I guess I really enjoy life now in the sober mind.
Now I got one more question for you, because you had talked about friends turning their backs on you during hard times, right? And I have my share of that. And in my experience, the ones that have done that profess to be the biggest, progressive, open-hearted, liberal-minded people, and yet on the daily, they turn their back on anything that's uncomfortable, anything they disagree with, much less, a drunk like me, trying to, come back up. What are your thoughts on that, if you have any?
Was there opinionated people turning their backs on you?
Yeah, just something like that. If you had that experience, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the closest people to me did that, turned his back on me. It's a hard breakaway to really, I guess. I wouldn't even say. I think it's hard because you don't really expect it from them, This person wasn't really a liberal. They're really big into promoting Christianity and the Bible and all that, which to me, I think some of those people are the biggest hypocrites in the world, So him always being like that and turning his back on me, it just kind of showed me what he was really about, obviously, right? And I'm like, damn, after all these years, I've known X, Y, and Z things about you, but because you were a Christian, I didn't judge you. But you're no different than anybody else, man. You're in fact you're worse because you're the one that promotes this, self-righteous Christianity thing, and here you are, really like this. It's like you're a two-face. You don't have a real sense of who you are as a person. You have to turn to try to hide behind this Christianity, this Bible thing, but that's not really you. It's just like something you put out there. You could be anything you want on social media,
Shellback says, I think it's really cool that Ghost has a commenting gig. Tell us about that gig again.
Oh yeah, commentate for Fury. Well, there's no shows in 2020 the rest of the year because of the pandemic. Maybe next year, but yeah, I've been doing shows for Fury Fighting Championship, and I'm really pumped with them, man, because they're pretty much the premier show in Texas. They put, I think, 3 guys or 2 for sure in the UFC recently. They had one show in March. I was literally there to do the show, and then the pandemic hit, so the state canceled everything. That's what I'm saying, that we're going to be out for the rest of the year. But they just got a deal with UFC Fight Pass for their grappling event called Submission Hunter. So their Submission Hunter events are going to be shown on UFC Fight Pass. I don't think it's going to be far before some of these regional Fury Fighting Championship events are going to be on UFC Fight Pass. So
yeah, they're really getting a lot of content on there. Yeah.
So
they're really getting a lot.
I mean, they're putting a lot. Yeah. So I mean, in 2021, I wouldn't be surprised if they're on UFC Fight Pass, and Joe Rogan, look out. I'm going to be taking your job. But
well, he's coming to Texas,
right? But he's moving to Austin apparently. I think. Well, he's a shareholder in the Onnit gym, the Onnit company. So I'm not gonna say it's true, but if he's not doing his podcast at home, he's probably gonna be doing it there at the Onnit headquarters. They have a big gym.
I think it's built. I think the new studio has been built already. It's in Austin.
But no, but I'm saying I think so. I went I'm pretty close to the Onnit people. One of my buddies is a trainer there, and I went by, and they had a whole bunch of black paper on the windows. You're like shutting everything out.
Wow!
So I was like, are they building the studio here?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, if not, maybe he's doing it out of his house. I don't know, but it would just make sense. It'd be so much more convenient for him to do it there because they have everything that he could possibly need there. So actually, but they had black tarp paper on the windows, so you wouldn't be able to see if they were building the studio there. That's just my opinion. I don't know, but it'd be cool to see him here.
Absolutely. Well, let's wrap it up. Death by Saber asked, would it be okay to... Oh, wait, hold on. What are your thoughts, Champ, on street vendors here in LA County being attacked and robbed? The people that sell paletas, elotes, fruit, etc. Would it be okay to choke them out if I witness a raza street vendor being attacked?
I would, yeah. I'd beat the shit out of him. Okay, so there's a video that got taken off. I think it's called Latin Fix or Latinx. I could email you the video. I have it, I think. Yeah, I have it. So it's got to be in LA. There's a couple, a chola and cholo, driving down the street, and then they see this young kid, and they're like, there he is. They stop, and the girl gets out. She's like, hey, what's up? Why'd you hit the old man for? What? And the guy stops. And then, the big cholo dude comes out from, the left side, wow, they hit him and lay him out. Boom. And then they start hitting him, kicking him, this kid in the street, young man, teenager. And then the big guy's like, all right, it's enough. And they hit him and drop him, give him some more chingazos. And all right, it's enough. They drive back down to the street. There's a paletero sitting there with, an ice pack on his head. And they're like, hey, lo ganamos. And they're telling him, we got the guy. And then some other guy comes over, and he's like, hey, it's a pinche moto, and because that stuff is happening a lot. But so I'm all about that street justice. If that video, they took it off, but you start putting more videos going viral of these kids getting their ass kicked by the neighborhood protecting the paleteros, I think we'll probably see less of that. There was another one, it was a gang related stuff. They shot up the house of these 2 young men that robbed the paletero. The neighborhood gang went and did a drive. I'm not, they don't fucking kill innocent people, but I like that they're protecting Raza. I mean, that's what, what are they going to get? Maybe $70 robbing one of these paleteros? Maybe. I mean, I'm all about
they're
it.
so
Man.
vulnerable, man. They're so vulnerable.
Yeah, but I mean,
a lot of times they're viejos and just already hot and just working their ass off just
that's what I'm
being
saying. If you
outside.
see somebody just by all means, open season on the person trying to rob them. That's not right, man.
Yeah.
I don't condone violence, but you don't pick on the elderly.
Violence.
No, but don't pick on the elderly, especially a man trying to make a living selling paletas.
No. Or animals. We'll come after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do not like to see abusive people abusing animals. Instead of Batman, we have Vato Man to protect the innocent street vendors. Orale Holmes.
Hey, so there's a movie. Okay, I can't find it. I think it's on YouTube. So my tattoo artist, he's the same guy I told you I do the sweat ceremonies with. Blashta. He's in this movie, or his friend made this movie. He had the shirt. It's called El Way. And it's like this street justice protecting the barrio guy, but it's like a legit movie. And he was telling me about it. I'm like dying laughing. I'm like, I never heard about this, but it's called El Way. I think it's on YouTube. But like, he fights like the Chupacabra and the Llorona's trying to drain his power. It's just this whole dude. I'm not gonna Google it. It's called El Way. El Way, yeah.
El Way. Let's spell this out. El Way.
And I think they tried to do another movie like that called El Chicano, kind of a similar.
Oh, I saw Chicano.
Was that? I didn't see it, but
that was all right. That was it needed a rewrite. Definitely need a rewrite. Shellbeck says instant karma on people trying to knock off street food vendors. Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, you don't do that, man. There's just certain things you don't do. You don't hurt animals. You don't hurt kids. And you don't mess with elderly people. I mean, I'm all about street justice, man, and frontier justice. Just sometimes, I mean, it just has to be done. Like I said, that video they took down of that one guy getting beat up by those cholos, if they would put more videos like that, I bet a lot of those kids would stop. Like, hey, man, we might get our ass kicked,
Well, here's the thing: a cholo or a homie, they're not going to try to talk about it.
No.
Like, hey, what happened? What's going? Hey, man, positive vibes. Like get all like granola about it. They're just gonna smack the shit out of you, and we'll talk later.
Like I said, the video that I found, I'll email it to you later because I have it on my email. But the girl pulls up, hey, why you hit the old man? Hey, what was And then he's like, and so he's looking at her, and she's like talking to him, and then the guy comes out of nowhere, pop, and then she runs over there with the guy that knocked him out and some other guy, and they give him like 5 or 6 good lickings, and they're like, okay, that's enough. So I mean, they didn't, they taught him a lesson. They leave him there. They drive back down the street. They're like, hey, lo ganamos. It was, I like seeing that, just how they protected their own, like.
I went to support a guy who got his vending cart turned over by some dude in Hollywood. I bought a lot of his products to help him out. What was funny about that one, not funny, but the guy that turned the cart over was a young guy. He was with his dogs and his girlfriend. And this went viral all over. So they're having a discussion with the street vendor. And the street vendor's not that old, but he's like, inocente, like, hey, just trying to work here. For some reason, that guy got upset because he was in the way of the dogs, but he wasn't doing anything. So he gives the dogs to his girlfriend, and they're arguing. And at one point, the guy goes, the street vendor goes to the guy, hey, come on, I'm Mexican or whatever. And then the guy goes, I'm Latino too. I'm Argentinian. And they're like, ah. But the guy flipped his cart, man. And that made the news. I think that guy got fired from his job. Like,
good.
He got that instant karma. So no animals, no kids, and respect your elders. Oh, Soul Assassin. What's up, Soul Assassin? Soul Assassin's got the kitty avatar there. He usually has like a knight's helmet. But this is all the cool raza that's on YouTube that comes and checks out our channel, champ.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. It's been great talking to you. We have people on Facebook. We've had people on YouTube. This has been awesome. I'm almost an hour and a half here talking with the champ, Nicholas Gonzalez, the ghost, about his sobriety. He's over coming up on 5 years, huh? Or 4 years?
Four. November 26th will be 4.
That's great, dude.
Been the best 4 years of my life, kind of. You know, kind of.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like it's still sometimes like, but no, really, again, since this pandemic, you know, getting laid off and just starting to work for myself since March. You know, it's just been like hustle, happy, sober. You know, it's just like I love this path I'm on. You know, and that's it for me. You know, like, I don't ever want to go back as far as I've come. You know, like we're talking about, you saving money and just things are in order and just having just so much more, you know, focus and clarity on just things in life. You know, situations like I had an incident. Howdy. I just said, people, man, that's one thing for me, I guess, is I've had a lot of people turn their backs on me and just try to, you know, bring me down. One was actually a female boxer I was training for a while. We parted ways. It's a big, you know, entanglement. I probably shouldn't talk about. I don't want to say her name, but we got involved in something we shouldn't have. And she had a boyfriend. That was my fault. But they break up. She ends up with some other guy. And then I'm just like, hey, you're not a good person. You're a liar, blah, blah, blah. We parted ways and talked to her ever again. I see them at HEB, I think, what's today? I think last Thursday or Friday. And the boyfriend, he's some bum amateur boxer. Like, I actually sparred him once, but I mean, he's nothing, you know. And they're both like boxers, right? But like, he's like, when I say nothing, I'm not trying to be funny, probably, but I mean, he ain't shit. Yeah. He's not even pro, and he's like 30.
Yeah. No, it's how you tell. I love the way you tell your stories, man. No.
Okay.
No.
So speaking of that, somebody told me I should be a comedian with my storytelling, but no. So I'm like, thank you, Showback. But so I mean, I sparred the dude, and he's a boxer, and I beat him up. But anyways, I see them coming out of HEB, and it's the other day, right? And I'm like, and I know they saw me because I stay there getting my cart. As they're walking by, they have just like the most awkward, uncomfortable like look and intense, like this uncomfortable feeling because they're like, oh shit, he's gonna say something. Nick's there, that you know, and there I am, just like, why am I gonna disrupt my energy, my happiness? I'm coming to get some ice cream. I got money in the bank. I have a good job, a trade. My dog's great. My kids are happy. I'm healthy. My kids are beautiful. My family's doing well. There's been no major effects by this pandemic, you know, being people losing jobs. My family's great. I'm great. Why am I going to disrupt my energy for these people? You know, what is it? A lion doesn't entertain a sheep's opinion. You know, I mean, that's it. I'm a king. I'm just like, eh. And so there they go walking by me all uncomfortable, and I'm just kind of like, I'm going to get ice cream. I'll see y'all later, you know. I'm not going to just but that comes with sobriety, with being just in a different mindset, having an elevated way of thinking all the time. I think that helps a lot as you go further in the sober journey.
It really does. Real quick, on Facebook, Robin Wiley says howdy. I don't know if you know who Robin is, but Robin Wiley says howdy.
Howdy,
Robin. To have that pause button in any situation that where there's friction, because shit happens, man. Life doesn't get all nice and easy.
It doesn't stop because you get sober.
Right? People don't give a shit.
No, fuck no. I think when they find out you're sober, when you're doing, like I said, I'm doing so well.
Right.
People still try to bring me down. I mean, there's like this. It's funny because I was messaging this good-looking young female, and she brought something up about this.
The longest couple of seconds, I bet.
Yeah, it was an awkward moment. Like I said, I could just see them walking by slow. It was like they were like, "Don't look, don't say anything," you know. But I'm not gonna bother. Fucking, I don't give a shit. I'm getting my ice cream, man. But she brings somebody up, like this local guy. And I'm like, oh God, you know him? And she's like, yeah. I was like, Sid made a comment about our rivalry. I'm like, that's something that he created in his head. I give a shit about that guy. He's been working the door downtown for like the last 12 years. You know, I mean, he's on an 8-fight losing streak when he fought me. I don't care. I knocked out his front tooth. Like, he made me the bad guy. I happily obliged. And so, but just that again, like, hey, you know what? Okay, we talked about it. I'm not gonna drag myself into this conversation that can go sour, or even I was at Ailote's a couple weeks ago, and again, just people like, I have Max with me. I take him everywhere with me.
Spot.
Dude, man, it's a I go about once every other week.
That was right next to my dojo, man.
Oh, okay. Man, yeah, it's probably changed a lot more.
It's Ace's Jiu-Jitsu now.
Okay, I think it's probably changed a lot more.
7th? Yeah.
Yeah.
That same little strip.
I'm getting to my car, and I have, of course, Max after I eat. And there's like 4 people outside, and they're like, oh, hey, you know, it's your dog, nice looking dog. Da, da. And then as I'm getting in my car, one of these guys like, hey, you're Ghost, you're Nick. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, hey. And I kind of stand there, and he's like, yeah, you fought my friend. And I was like, oh, great. And I was like, oh, yeah, who's your friend? And he tells me, and it's this local guy. And I was like, okay, shocking. I was like, yeah, cool, man. No, I didn't say anything. He's like, yeah, that was a good fight. And I was like, yeah, cool, man. All right. I mean, I think the old me would have engaged more, and you know, but it's like, why even? The record's
what if you
there.
weren't sober? In those 2 examples, if you weren't sober and leading the lives that we used to lead, what would have happened at the market? What would have happened at that?
Oh, he's like, he's your friend. I was like, you want to talk shit like him and get slapped like him? I'll knock your fucking front tooth out too, boy. That would have happened immediately. I know it would have. Like, oh, he's your friend? You're one of the guys that talk shit to him or to me online because he had a bunch of little minions. I'm like, oh, are you one of the guys that keeps gassing him up, making him think he can beat me? Like, it got really ugly fast. I know it would have. That's just I'm not aggressive, but I don't, you know. To me that would have been like you're trying to start some shit by even telling me that, you know.
It's the peace of mind that's slowly coming into our lives every day. Robin Wiley on Facebook says, stumbled upon you guys. Sobriety is the best. You guys are cool. And then Robin said he would have hit the guy back in the day.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, you see, I was never one to really hit people first because I know what I'm capable of doing. I have a really sharp tongue, so what I'm really good at is usually cutting people up with my words before I even hit them. I don't even have to hit them. I make them feel silly, but same thing. So like that couple that I ran into, I wish I could share the meme, but I sent them both the same meme.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, bro, like, you might think this girlfriend of yours is a dime piece, but she's like a 6. To you, she is. But trust me when I tell you she's not a good person. She's a liar manipulator. Good luck. But I made sure they both got it and they both saw it. That probably just was a knife and twisted it in them because it was a pretty brutal meme. But I didn't have to physically do anything to them. And then even seeing them, like, for what? Like I said, why am I going to let these people who aren't anywhere near me at my level, what I feel, what I'm living, disrupt my happiness? I'm happy. They're not. You know, they're probably dealing with this pandemic worse than I am. I'm out working. I'm essential. I've been working since the shutdown, all this stuff. I've been at it, man. I've been busier now on my own than I was before. So I can't really complain and just, again, go down to that level and entertain them for what? I mean, I guess that's just the moments of clarity you have where you can sit back and think about things and really wrap your head around it and make the right decisions instead of reacting, Reacting was,
Yeah, you're reacting with that. -6. Robin Wiley says.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Champ, thank you for your time, man. An hour and a half. Oh, it's been fantastic.
I talk a lot, man. Sorry about that.
We get warmed up. That first half hour, to get warmed up. But if there's anything you'd like to say, just to wrap it up, that'd be great, Champ.
Oh man, just, if everybody that listened, tuned in, thank you. Anybody has any questions, just want to talk to somebody about sobriety, maybe you're on the fence about it, I'm always down. Shoot me a message. I actually have a friend, student friend. She's gonna be celebrating 30 days tomorrow. I mean, never, never think that even at 30 days of sobriety is is an underachievement. It's a big thing, you know, for a lot of people. 30 days, 40 days. I
In
mean,
the pandemic,
yeah, in the pandemic, you know,
we
when
got
everybody's
we got two
when
guys in our
they're
program that are like, one guy's got 14 days, the other guy's got like 45. Like, how the fuck did you guys do it?
oh shit, dude. Yeah, I mean, well, here during all the shutdown and everything here in Texas, they allowed drinks to go order drinks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's how bad it was. Like, they were allowing to go order. You can go to Taco Cabana and get margaritas, or you can go buy beer at a bar, order a bucket of beers, and drive home with. I mean, that's fucking like that's how. I think they did that also to not deal with the hardcore alcoholics who probably would have been in hospitals and stuff for not, you know. I mean, just yeah, this pandemic's been a crazy time for everybody. But yeah, if anybody ever wants to shoot me a message, talk about sobriety, I'm always open. I'm definitely, you know, down to help people.
Yeah, Nick the Ghost MMA on Instagram. Never go looking or start fights. That's what my dad taught me. Soul Assassin, thanks for being here. Death by Saber. This interview went into overtime. Cool. 10th inning.
Yeah.
Death by Saber. Yeah, the champ is on Instagram. Nick the Ghost MMA. Cool. Congrats on the sobriety, Ghost.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
That's a good way to end this out. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for being here. If you guys dig it, Robin Wiley says, keep up the great work on Facebook. So that's cool. We got a bunch of people watching on Facebook and on YouTube. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Sober Slant. I'd say every couple of weeks when we find a cool person to interview. We're not gonna just do it to just do it, but do it with some meaning. Oh, we got a good sober friend watching on Facebook. Man, she's a pillar. I'm just gonna say her first name, Diana. Thanks for watching. She is an angel. Her and her husband helped me get back in the rooms. So some badass people, man. Some badass people. So Robin Wiley also says hugs. All right, champ. I think we're done.
Right on. Thank you for having me on, and everybody, thank you for tuning in. And I didn't leak out any crazy stories, but if you want to hear them, you can message me. I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep it PG. I was like, well, my kids might be on this. That's good.
PG and we don't want to catch no case, bro.
Dude, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
But if anyone that just tuned in, Diana, anyone else on Facebook and YouTube, please subscribe to the Latino Slant. This will be on replay. I'm not taking this video off. It's going to live on the Latino Slant channel. So just hit the replay button. Watch from the beginning. We now have a couple of cool streams. Thanks again, Nick. You have a good night, brother.
Thank you for having me on. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's take it out with some music, and we'll catch everyone very soon. Tomorrow's show. Peace.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. The Slant. Slant. All right, Paul, let's go.